The Arizona Department of Public Safety is experiencing a trooper shortage. What's behind the vacancy rate and how best can the state address the issue? We asked Trooper Union President Jeff Hawkins. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Ted.
Let's talk about this. Talking about historic shortages here, huh?
It's the greatest number of vacancies we've ever experienced in the existence of the agency.
Why is it happening?
Pay, benefits, working conditions. We have seen historic pay raises in the past, but everyone else has remained competitive and we remain stagnant. So folks are looking for better opportunities.
Is this something that is a long time coming or a recent spike? The resignations.
Well, the retirements, resignations, it's a long time coming. It's lots of different factors.
Impact on public safety?
Huge. It's, I mean, there just aren't any troopers to take calls. Right now, 24-hour coverage is very limited. Phoenix, Tucson, a little bit of Casa Grande. The rest of the state goes dark at nighttime.
Yeah, I want to get back to that in a second here, but shortages include sworn and civilian officers? I mean, everything in the department is seeing shortages?
Right now, we're almost 500 vacancies in the sworn, and we have 39 vacancies in our dispatch ranks, and those are two critical fill areas for us.
The average pay, let's stick to troopers here, the average pay for a trooper is around what?
We start at 65, and it takes 9 years to max out to 91,000.
How much does that need to increase, do you think, to help alleviate this problem?
For us to remain competitive, you're probably looking at anywhere from 12 to 17%.
When you say remain competitive, you mean against other law enforcement agencies in the Valley? Is that where some of these folks are going?
Sure. No, right now in the Valley, we're number 12. As soon as the city of Glendale inks their contract, we'll probably be 13 or 14 when it comes to pay.
I thought that DPS received like a 10% raise or something from federal money. Talk about that and talk about federal money in general. I seem to think that federal money came in for everything, including security, including state security.
We never saw any of that money. We saw some infrastructure money like for radios and replacement of portable radios, but nothing for recruitment, retention, and trying to hire new folks. Yeah, we never saw any money from any COVID dollars from that. At least it wasn't shared with us.
What about recent state budgets?
Last year, we asked for several things to try to help working conditions and some of the infrastructure. None of them were funded except for our ask for the radios. The radios were not on the governor's budget, but we fought for them and were able to get $44 million to try to keep the Southern Arizona radios, just keep them working. They were getting ready to go black in the next 12 months.
And you got a pretty significant budget issue at the Capitol right now. I can't expect that you are expecting to get too much.
Well, we kind of like to make the argument that there's a lot of things that are out there that can be drawn back to pay for the things that constitutionally we're required to do. One of them, state law enforcement.
You mentioned state law enforcement, and you mentioned accent on the word state, and you mentioned some areas of the state. Are they essentially dark right now? I mean, is there just simply no coverage outside the major metropolitan areas?
That's correct. If you're going to go up I-17 to I-40 and go I-40 all the way across and I-10 all the way out, from midnight, you're not going to have a trooper working the road. And if you roll your car or see an impaired driver or see a wrong way driver, we have to wake somebody up to come out and to respond to the call.
The legislature is conservative by nature. We have a Democratic governor, but we used to have a Republican governor. If this has been going on for a while, a lot of these folks down there at the Capitol, especially lawmakers, especially one particular party, they'd like to talk about law enforcement and security. What's going on? There seems to be a disconnect.
There is. I would say I can't leave this at the governor's feet just yet. We want to speak to her and find out what her commitment is to try to get troopers on the road. But yes, there's been a bit of a disconnect. We have a lot of legislators that are pro-law enforcement but aren't pro-funding. They just don't want to spend the dollars on us. And it's quite evident by almost 500 vacancies. I mean, it's astronomical.
So what are you telling them and what are they saying to you as opposed to doing for you?
What I tell them is the truth and where we're at. And what they want to tell me is everybody's got needs. And I just don't know how to express upon them with sharing the statistics and the loss of money and of where we rank on making sure that we have adequate law enforcement for the public. I mean, DPS just doesn't patrol the freeways. We also have a criminal investigation side that takes care of state narcotics, deals with facial recognition. We have drug interdiction. We also deal with human trafficking. All these things are affected when you don't have staff. Northeastern Arizona should be covered by 9 detectives. Currently, there's 2 detectives covering 3 counties. I don't know how you're able to operate a caseload with those few detectives and those few troopers.
So last question here. I'm a lawmaker. You tell me. Give me the message that you would give a lawmaker to try to change the situation as best you can.
Well, what I usually share with them is the fact that we've had 313 troopers leave for regrettable reasons, meaning other opportunities, better opportunities over the last 3 years. It takes $200,000 to train a trooper. That's $63.5 million that just walked out the door. Give us some of that money for us to be able to offer competitive wages, competitive benefits package, to be able to even have a recruitment budget. We don't even have that. We kind of just do what we can to try to do the best we can, but without substantive, without the legislature making a substantive deposit into our agency, it's going to be horrible.
Jeff Hawkins, Troopers Union President. Good to have you, sir. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Ted.